What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. First of all, I want to thank everybody that went over to Damian Porter's channel, subscribed and showed the homie love. Those of you that didn't see the video yesterday, those of you that didn't subscribe, do me a favor. Go check out Damian Porter, DAMIONPORTER. Check out his channel, subscribe to him. He and I did time together when we were kids. We got in a fight in the chow hall, and I did not have a spoon in my hand. Just so you know, I did not have a fork in my hand. Shout out to Bolo from Swan. Bolo got at me and said, yeah, you had a fork in your hand. You were trying to take his eye out. Didn't have a fork. It is what it is. I don't know why, little old me needed a weapon because I was tiny as fuck. But it was what it was. And me and Chinaman, we're cool. We were cool after the incident. And I'm glad to see him with a new channel. He has a good message. He's seen a lot. And so go ahead and check out his channel. Okay, with that said, I've seen in the comments before where, and it had to do with the Pelican Bay riot. Somebody had said, hey, you guys are leaving out the fact that the cops be helping y'all against the brothers, right? And say it again, said it 100 times. Where there's a half truth, there's a whole lie. Let that soak in. A half truth is a whole lie. In the 70s, man, people want to use something that happened 40 years ago or things that happened 40 years ago and apply it to today. People want to use alliances involving specific organizations 40 years ago and try to apply them to today. It doesn't work. So, you guys know I don't say the names of these organizations, but we're going to go back. And then we're going to take it. I'm going to give you a perfect example. Okay? I need to figure out what the hell's on my shoulder right there because it's driving me crazy. And now you're looking, but I think I got it. Anyways, so in Old Folsom, there was an incident. I'm sure there was more than one, where COs, white COs, gave white convicts from a particular organization within the Big Four, gave them buck knives that they used against blacks. It's a fact. And I'm sure it happened on more than one occasion. I'm sure there was occasions where certain cops would mess with the metal detector or allow people to go through the metal detectors over there with weapons. But I also know that black cops were doing it for black convicts. So let's keep it real. New Folsom and other institutions had, I remember when I wasn't in Calipatria when it opened. When it opened up, homies were saying straight out, hey, it was crazy over there. The black Hudas were fucking helping the black inmates, like getting rid of, the weapons when shit would happen. The Raza Hudas were helping the Raza out. They were beefing with each other while we were beefing. It's both sides, right? But, and it goes back to the whole, the Mexicans and the whites have an alliance. That was between two organizations. Two of the Big Four organizations. The other two of the Big Four were in an alliance as well. So let's keep it real, But those alliances, again, were with organizations. The legends. It wasn't the dudes that remained on the main line when they took all the legends off. Those things didn't still apply, weren't done the way those organizations did it. You did not have where Raza from Southern California and Woods were like, hey, together, we're going to go hit these dudes. It wasn't like that, And I always say, Show me where that happened. Explain to me where that happened. It didn't happen. Now, back to the COs assist the raza in against the blacks, and they assist the whites against the blacks. We're gonna go to New Folsom Sea Facility. I think it was 2004. It was 2004. That's when the cell phones started coming in on our facility, right? The guy got cracked. So I'm just going to say it was a black free staff. He wound up getting cracked doing time. Black free staff was bringing in the phones. It was a black man down the tier from me, a black convict that approached me. I've told this story. I knew sooner or later, because everybody knew I had dope. I had money on the yard. I knew sooner or later he's going to want to get some money and he's going to holler at me, right? And we were cool. He was a non-affiliate. And so he gets at me and asked me if I want a phone. I said, yeah. And I'm waiting for a huge number, right? And I'm going to pay it. Like, I wanted a phone. Had never had a cell phone in my life. Never even seen one, right? Other than the big old clunkers they used to have in the 80s. And so he asked me, hey, you want a phone? I said, yeah. How much? This fool said $500. Homie, I had to stop myself. Like, don't laugh. Don't laugh at this cheap-ass price. I said, 500? He said, yeah. I said, you want cash right now or you want me to send it somewhere? I had the cash. And he was like, oh, you got 500 on you right now? I go, yeah, I got that. Don't trip. You want 500 cash? He was like, nah, you know what? Because it's going to be hard for me to get it out. Just send it. I said, you tell me where to send it and I'm going to send it. He said, all right, cool. So we knew that this free staff, this black free staff was bringing in phones, right? Then one morning I wake up, I start charging my phone. I used to get on the phone from like 9 o'clock at night to about 4 in the morning, man. And then I'll get a little power nap in for about an hour, get up, get ready to go out to the yard crew and be out there in the fucking beaming ass sun all day, right? But when I would hang up, I would plug my phone in and take my power nap. Well, this day I fell asleep, right? I wake up, I plug my phone in, I hear the corner pocket door on the bottom, pop, pop. It's the fucking goon squad. They rush this Crip cell, 2 Crips in there. Guess what they find? They find dope, they find a cell phone, and they find a fucking buck knife. Guess where he got it from? See, we had heard rumors about this already. Hey, that free staff is selling buck knives to the blacks. I was the only Mexican on my facility that he had even offered a phone to. So when these dudes got caught with the fucking knife, we actually had to sit down and discuss this. He's arming the enemy. He's arming our rivals with real shit, right? Do we hit him? And we kicked it around. Do we hit him? Do we set an example? And as it always is in prison, it's about money and opportunity. We waited out and we said, nah, he's still going to bring in phones. We still need those phones. We need more for us. We need more phones. Fuck it. They have a knife. We have knives. It's a buck knife. So what? We got bone crushers. It's still even. So we left him alone. But I tell that story to tell you, he didn't sell one buck knife to one Mexican. From what we had heard, he had sold at least 10 of them to the blacks. So when I hear, all the cops are assisting black Mexicans and whites, blacks get assisted as well. Everyone does. Convicts are gonna find that staff. See, these staff, they live beyond their means, man. These COs get paid once a month. They never had money like they start seeing within the CDC. A lot of them, they're into boating, hunting, all these different things. So these dudes want to fit in with their friends. So what do? They go get a house immediately. Then they go get a car. Then they go get a boat. You only get paid once a month. You're living beyond your means. So when they're on the yard and they're stressed out, we know they're living beyond their means. So you just catch a CO by himself and be like, hey, man, I bet you got a gang of bills out there. You ever need to make a little bit more money? Holler at me. And keep it moving. And a lot of them bite. Because they want to keep that car payment up, that boat payment up. They got to pay their mortgage. They got to take care of their kids. They probably have 3 or 4 old ladies. That's expensive. So they get on the team. It's easy as that. And they make great money. So now, on top of that, we have the riot in Pelican Bay. And this is clear. There's nothing more clear. When they say that whole argument, all the CEOs help the Southerners and the whites against the blacks. I want to make something extremely clear. And anybody that was in Pelican Bay at this time will remember this. I already mentioned it in a video. But I'm going to mention it again because it correlates with this topic. Leading up to the riot, the blacks on a facility were fucking cops up. I believe they stabbed like 2. They beat the fucking dog shit out of a couple of them. And we're gearing up for war against these cats. I remember sitting on the yard with the crew that I was going to move with. And we were talking about, fuck yeah, homie. These blacks are fucking these cops up. They ain't going to shoot none of us. They're going to take this opportunity to retaliate. We're going to be whacking them, and they're going to be whacking them. We're good, Holmes. They're not even going to fuck with us. Come riot day. 15 people shot. Let me make sure 1 black. 1 black inmate was shot in the chest because he had a cane and he was using it. It's the only reason why he was shot. He had a cane and he was using it on somebody, hitting somebody in the face or the head or something. I don't know. He was like this. They shot him right in his chest, knocked him on his ass. He almost died a few times. 15 people shot, 14 Mexican. Right after the black convicts on a facility were demolishing COs, whacking them, knocking them out, beating them down. So when I hear this propaganda, it doesn't help with anything. COs are dirty for whoever they're dirty with, whoever approaches them. There's white cops that fuck with blacks, black cops that fuck with Mexicans. It's about greed. They just want their money. They don't give a fuck what they're bringing in half the time. They don't give a fuck who they're dealing with. They just care about, are they going to break me off the way they said? Alliances and incidents that happened in the 70s should be left in the 70s. They have no bearing to the activities on the yard in the 2000s, 2020s especially. So this video was just in response to that. And speaking of Damon, the channel I told you to check out earlier, China, I know him as China. Speaking of him, he talked about in one of his videos, a teacher bringing in a pound of dope at a time, a pound of weed at a time for him. I'm telling you, free staff, COs, they live beyond, especially COs, not even the free staff. The COs get paid once a month and live beyond their means and are easy pickings. It's the reality. So let's not bite into the propaganda where the whole system is geared against one group. Because I know there were times where, I'll give a quick example as well. You know, and it's funny, and it's the reality. Every group in there, you ask a white dude, he's going to say the CDC is against whites. You ask a Southern Mexican, he's going to say they're against them. Northern Mexican, the CDC is against them. Blacks, everybody feels that, right? And I can tell you this. I remember one time in New Folsom where the blacks got caught with like 7 knives in their cell, though. They were probably just moving some shit, more than likely, right? The cell got cracked. They found the 7 knives. They locked down all the blacks and all the Southerners. Hey, and the raza from down south was like, what the fuck's this got to do with us? We didn't get caught with no fucking knives, right? Swear to God, on my mom's rest in peace, swear to God, as soon as we came off lockdown, one of the fucking homies got caught with a knife in his cell. They locked down the Southern Mexicans. They didn't lock down nobody else. And right away, the homies were like, you see that shit? See that bullshit? They lock us down for everything. So, you know, if you hear stories from your older homies, first of all, if they're telling a story about Pelican Bay, New Folsom, High Desert, Salinas Valley, New Corcoran, make sure they were there. Make sure they were not on a fire camp and they're telling you something they heard from a guy that heard it 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 from a guy, and so on. Remember when you were a kid, you ever play that game telephone and you whisper something in somebody's ear and there's 10 people in that circle. By the time it gets to the 10th person and they say it out loud, it's nothing like what the fuck the original message was. That's what happens with these prison stories. If they were not there, if they weren't in the mix to know, even if they weren't there, they would know. If they were in the mix, then they're going to get their people's version of what happened, right? But anyways, before I go, make sure you also check out Food and Fallons. The homie Fig was doing some traveling recently. I was supposed to meet up with him. Something came up. Wasn't able to, but he's got some videos from a couple different states. My boy's moving around. I want to say he's international, but he's continental. That's what they call it, right? When they stay within the states. Is it just that continental is continents, right? Let me get the fuck out of here because, you know, I'm fucking up now. But anyways, check out Food and Fallons. Subscribe to his channel. Get ready for the new food reviews that he's doing. What the fuck? Did you guys see that? Something on the side of the screen right here? Anyways, everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out.